Welcome to 91 Reasons, a pop culture fueled rocket into the far reaches of nerd culture. Featuring your hosts, Jeff, Rachel, Luna, Austin, and Josie. It's Tucker time.
So if you're a regular listener to the show, you know that last year, around August, like a year ago, I did an episode where I talked about my 7th grade teacher. His name was Mr. Benton, and I talked about how during the incredible turmoil that was the drunks and the segue into Don Berg himself, the only place I felt normal and that I could be myself was at school, 7th grade, Loretta F. Lambton Elementary, with Mr. Benton. Mr. Benton was the most influential and the greatest man I have ever met. He taught me so much. So much of who I am today is directly related to the influence that he had on me on that single school year. And I've gone and thought about, like, what would have happened if I'd been placed in a different class? I think what would have happened is I would have gravitated toward Mr. Benton's class and probably figured a way to transfer in. None of that happened. I was put in Mr. Benton's class, and I helped him feed the snake, and we had this symbiotic relationship that carried over for a couple of years. That summer, we went to Disneyland, and he took like a foreign exchange student named Rosalie, and showed her a whole day at Disneyland, and I went too. And then in 1986, I actually traveled to Seattle for an entire week to spend time with him. I talked about a lot of it. You can still hear the original Mr. Benton episode. And I tell you what, that episode, when I did it, really messed me up. It drained me. And I felt hollow for a few days after doing it. And part of the episode was I implored you, the listener, to help me find Mr. Benton. Because I had tried finding Mark Benton for years, and I always hit the same problem. There's an English actor named Mark Benton. So he dominates the search engines, right? So I got a lot of leads. Hendel helped me. Aaron helped me. A few other people helped me. And I didn't forget about it, but I figured, you have to finally accept that maybe he's gone. And if that's the case, well, I will find the place and I will pay my final respects. But I couldn't even find that. And that's the part that hurt the most. The not knowing is the worst. When people vanish, it's almost worse than if they die, because vanishing leaves such an empty place. And lo and behold, early 2017, I got a Facebook message from a listener named T. And you know the story if you listen to that episode. T found an art exhibit in Seattle showcasing art by Mark Benton. And the minute I saw the art, I knew it was him. So Eventually I got him on the phone, and we had an amazing hour-long phone call that seemed to last 10 seconds, if that makes sense. And it was as if the years between when I last spoke to him hadn't occurred, and we just picked up from where we had left off. And the message that I gave to him was simply, I don't want anything from you. I simply want to tell you what your year of teaching, 7th grade, meant to me, the student. So I sent him the episode on CD, and he listened to it in his car in the middle of the night. And like me, he got really emotional. And we talked a couple more times on the phone. And finally, it was like, we have to go. I have to take my family to Seattle. We have to get there to see Mr. Benton. And we had planned these trips, way off in the future. We'll go for Christmas. We'll go for then. We'll go for this. We'll go for this. And finally, it just occurred to me, I've got to do this now. I've got to do this now because what if something happens to me, to him, to anything? You have no time like today. What do I always say on this show when it comes to telling people what you feel about them? You have every opportunity in the world until you don't. And when you don't, you really don't. And all you have is regret. And I don't want to have regret when it comes to Mark Benton. So, by hook or by crook, I did a GoFundMe. I sold a lot of my haunt memorabilia. And with Mark's help, we went to Seattle Memorial Day weekend. It was tough because Rachel doesn't get time off from work. So we had to make it work. So we had this crazy idea that we're going to fly out on Friday and fly back in Monday morning because it was Memorial Day, and that was the extra day off that we needed to make the trip work. So I'm sitting here, the whole Tucker family is here. Say hello, everybody.
Hi.
And we went to Seattle. And that Friday, we picked Rachel up from work, and we drove to the airport. We left our car in a weekend parking spot at one of the hotels and paid the fees. And we set out to go to Seattle. You have to understand, folks, the farthest we've ever gone as a family intact with all of us is Las Vegas. So this was the farthest we've ever been.
We've never flown.
Never flown anywhere. And
Flying is terrible.
We were a little nervous because Austin doesn't like to go on Pirates of the Caribbean because of the drop. So much less a trip to Seattle.
I think we should back up because we had the opportunity at one time when we had a little bit of extra money that we had saved up to take a family trip, and we were going to go to Florida. This was a couple years back, and we spent a lot of time working with Austin to try to get that plane trip to happen.
And he said, I can't go because he said, even if you give me knockout pills to get there, I will spend the whole time there worrying about the flight back. And I said, we're not going because I can't take that kind of pressure.
I wasn't ready. It was that simple.
It wasn't ready?
I wasn't ready.
Because this time, you stepped up to the plate. You didn't cause us any trouble. I just said, we're going, and you're like, yep, we're going.
I felt a lot more mature. Those 2 years really changed.
It made a difference.
That was a very busy year. Moving was pretty stressful. I don't think it was just the right time for a big trip like that.
It was just a lot of stuff.
I had a new school I was trying to adjust to. I didn't want
And I think you knew the importance of this trip to Dad.
Yes. I have to go.
Yep.
I have to.
You had to do it.
I had to do it.
But you were the one we were worried about.
To be fair, for all those listeners, Seattle's been a dream city of mine.
So
I wanted to go. So
ever since you were little, you're like, I'm gonna move to Seattle.
So are you saying that you manned up?
Yeah, I did. Seattle got me to man up.
You manned up and said, I'm going.
And to be fair, Florida didn't sound appealing. And I don't like Disney. I don't like human weather. My brain wasn't there to push myself to those limits. I wasn't ready yet.
You see, the problem was Austin isn't normal.
No, but oh God, so mean.
Yeah, but it wasn't even Austin that had an issue.
No, I didn't like planes.
Right? We'll get there in a minute. But it's just that Seattle, we have to see this family. It's the city of my dreams. It's 2 years later. I'm almost 18. I'm gonna eventually fly, so why not do it now? Like, everything was at the right moment for now. It was the end of the school year. There was nothing to lose. It was literally the weekend I got out of school, if you'll remember.
Yeah, we picked you guys. You guys got out of school, and then Dad got me from work, and then we went to the airport. Like, literally, it was your last day of school.
So what?
First day of summer.
What was there to lose?
Very first day of summer we spent in Seattle.
I liked it because I had no homework.
So,
and I was
Josie,
expecting to do work.
How was the plane ride?
Oh, it was absolutely horrible. I couldn't get up to go to the bathroom because I was squished in the last seat on the far back of the plane.
We were all the way back where the engine is. So even if you open your window, there's no view. You see nothing but the engine in front of it. It literally blocks the view.
And it's super loud when it takes off because the engine is right there.
And seats on the way back, so we did not get a window view. We did not get to see what it looks like to look at an airplane at all, which was a little sad.
Yeah. But I don't think that would have helped because I'm never going back on an airplane again.
Oh, really? Never?
Nope. I'd much rather spend 2 days in a car than
Well,
2
tell us why.
hours.
You didn't even tell anyone why you didn't like the
It's
airplane.
painful.
What is?
My ears hurt.
So your ears hurt.
It's like someone's repeatedly stabbing my ears until I can't hear anything.
Wow. Your mom loved the plane because she got all of our almonds.
Yeah, they gave out weird like almond snack trail mix, get you hyped for the plane.
Yeah.
Like
The best part of the
dumb
plane ride
stuff.
was I don't like plane rides. I understand their necessity, so you just sort of go, look, I'm going to make this work. I get it, okay. But I looked over, and I looked a little pale in the face, and Austin's got like a drink in one hand and a snack in the other, and he's like, Father, what seems to be the problem?
He was fine. He was totally like, this is nothing. Really? This is it?
I turned on a podcast I downloaded. Thank God, Pat the NES Punk releasing a new podcast that's 2 hours long an episode, so I downloaded 2 of those on my phone in advance. I closed my eyes and I turned it on, and to be honest, by the time I opened my eyes, the flight was half over and we were already in the air, because I didn't know when the elevation would have started or ended. So my brain just kind of said, don't open your eyes till a long time.
Well, can you now go on Pirates of the Caribbean?
No.
I don't understand. That makes no sense.
Well,
you went thousands of feet in the air and
What
then
if you
thousands of
close your
feet
eyes?
down.
well, here's the thing. I didn't feel it. I felt no change in elevation during that plane ride.
Oh my!
Oh, you
Felt
must be insane
it literally felt like sitting down, closing your eyes, opening them back up, and you're in a new place. It felt like nothing. What really helped was not having the window. Like we said, we were in the turbine, so I never saw how high up we are. I never looked outside the plane once. I had a nice podcast. I didn't feel anything. I didn't have any issues with ears or any nausea issues, which I think I can say I was the only one who survived this plane ride. Because, Mom, you looked just like it was too crowded for you. That was the truth.
People
Too
were
crowded.
annoying me, and I didn't like that we didn't have a window.
Yeah.
That really
Josie,
bugged me.
your ears were killing you. Luna, you just looked sort of tired
I'm
for the whole
fine.
thing. You were alright.
Here's the
And
thing.
Wait, I didn't even get to
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You looked miserable.
I
looked
was
half
miserable.
dead.
You looked pale.
You
You,
did.
looked
You're
nauseous.
cranking the table.
you
Come
look-
over here.
You looked so ill the whole time. And I'm like, how? How can you be this ill? It's not that bad at all. It's nothing like I was expecting. And so we just drove back from Comic-Con. We drove to and from the con every day. Listened to our Comic-Con episode. We talked about it. That was far worse. That was
What?
far worse.
No, that was not bad. I got to sit and fidget spin for 2 hours while
What was
playing
worse,
Nintendo DS.
the airplane ride or Carl's RV?
Poor Carl. We love you, Carl.
We love you.
But
I
it
love
made
Carl
me
the most
sick.
because I wanted to stay.
But you got the comfy bed, but you made
But-
weird noises
Yeah.
Think about
instead
it
of
this way.
breathing.
With an airplane, there's no sudden turns. There's no one for you to crash into. There's
Except the ground.
For some reason, I don't get car sick in airplanes, but when I'm in a car for a long time, I get really ill. Everyone can feel the air conditioning. You aren't trapped in the back seat.
You have the most bizarre set of rules. You're
But
just
it works
you're
for
just
you.
like your mother.
and
the
I
end.
didn't even
Don't you
explain the
love
best
it?
part. There's a bathroom on board. Cars don't have bathrooms.
This is true.
So if you
there is benefits to an airplane. I'm
Well,
Well, you
fine
could
with
take
Austin.
you could take a bottle with you
if you have to
in a
go,
car.
the Comic-Con trip, I saw some of the worst gas station
Yeah.
bathrooms ever.
It's kind of
Because
true.
we didn't have a choice.
Airplanes are a little bit better,
Airplane, you have a nice clean bathroom.
and they are safer than cars.
Yeah. So I don't think it's that bad, actually.
So check this out. We were at LAX waiting to board for about 2 hours. And the LAX hub, it was under construction. They were putting in a Mexican
Spicy restaurant.
which is perfect for international flights. And there weren't enough seats. The seats that were there did not have charging hubs, electrical outlets, so you couldn't charge your phone. And it was mobbed, right? Just completely mobbed. So we boarded the plane taxis off, in the air for like, what, 2 hours, 2.5 hours?
a little under 2 hours.
And it drops into Seattle. And when we get off the plane in Seattle, it's gorgeous and there's nobody there.
It's empty.
It was amazing what the difference was.
And there's like little statues everywhere and like rocks. It's really pretty.
The Seattle airport, Tacoma, was gorgeous.
And when we were on our flight back, there was like nobody there. We had like these whole rooms of chairs just sitting there to ourselves.
Yeah, we're just on our own. So we boarded the shuttle to get our rental car, which might have been the most hair-raising journey ever, because that guy was taking turns at like 60 miles an hour that said 40 miles an hour. God, you ever rented a car? What a racket this is.
Oh, but can I just say that car is amazing because
It was a
every
nice
time
car.
we stopped somewhere and then got back on to go to another place, I had the whole back seat to myself.
Yeah.
I fell asleep every single time.
The price that they quoted nearly doubled by the time they finished with insurance and gas and this and all this extras and stuff. And I just was like, whatever, we'll pay it. We got to get out of here. Let's just do this. So we rented the car. And then when we got on the Seattle freeway, we got the first indication that we were not in California anymore.
It's not my fault. It's Carl. He's texting me.
You got to turn that off,
It
honey.
is off.
No,
It
it's
is
on
off.
vibrate. We can all hear it.
Yeah, I can hear from over
for,
here.
For example, remember when I was doing this yesterday podcast and you kept saying you had to turn your phone off and
Yeah.
Zach kept talking in the background and
Uh-huh.
Carl listened, had headphones on right in his ear. He said, never even would have noticed. So I guarantee Carl's saying right now, you cannot hear that buzzing in the background.
So we should just let you go on
Yes,
with your
you
nonsense.
can't hear it. Just ignore it. It's funny
Rachel.
that Carl is giving me commentary
Oh,
as a
boy.
podcast is
Oh
happening.
my God.
Oh,
you won't
boy.
stop talking about Carl.
Okay, go ahead.
He's face palming right now, just so
What
you
was
know.
the first indication that we weren't in California anymore, Rachel?
Green trees everywhere. Look at four.
The first human
It was
indication.
cold.
They were nice.
I put my blinker on, and the guy in the other lane slowed down to let me over.
I just was
I-
overwhelmed by the beauty.
I was in shock when the guy did that.
And we went in at nighttime, so you didn't even get to see that well, and it was still so pretty.
Right, so
And we got in at like 9 o'clock at night, and it was daylight.
it was still daylight, yeah.
Like the creepiest daylight, not like evening dusk, like daylight. It was weird. I don't know what was up with that.
So we went to check into our motel, and we had made arrangements to meet Mark the next morning for an early breakfast and an early start to the day. So when we checked into our rooms, Josie, what was in our room?
Balloons with candies on them.
Balloons with candies on them. Now, is that regular motel?
Oh no, the motel wasn't really that wonderful.
But Mark made it wonderful.
Yeah.
He had made a special trip and arranged balloons and chocolates in our room.
Which
So-
were Hershey Kisses, and they were amazing, so thank you.
Yes. And we unpacked, and by the time we unpacked, it was about 9:30. So I called Mark and I said, you know, this is silly. Why don't you just come down here? I don't know how far away you are, and let's go out for like a midnight snack, right?
We went to IHOP.
So we hung out at the motel for about a half hour, and you guys were unpacking and getting ready, and I'm just watching the cars, right? And suddenly, this little is red, right? This
little red car.
little red car pulls up, and this guy gets out, and I just oh my God.
I think we should all describe one thing about him, for like something first instinct around the room. Josie, first
Suspenders.
thing. Suspenders.
Suspenders.
Red suspenders. Luna, one thing about that Grandpa Dad that stood out.
Beard.
First thing, his crazy beard. Okay, Austin.
He is an eye patch and a fez away from being Grunkle Stan.
What's that?
You guys know who
From
Grunkle
Gravity
From
Falls.
Gravity Falls.
He's the grandpa uncle. They call him the Grunkle, and he lives in Seattle, Oregon.
Well, that makes sense since we have a funny name for ours too, because we call
Yeah.
him Grandpa Dad.
That's what he reminds me of. He's on Grunkle Stan.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
He's even in Oregon in the show, and he
Yeah.
adopts his two kids who see him as their Grunkle.
Was he exactly what you expected, Jeff?
We're both a lot older, but
I would love to see him young. I can't imagine it.
I have
Like,
I have a
only
yearbook
can
somewhere.
Picture him looking and acting and being that way.
Did he have hair?
Yes.
Yeah. I can
No
picture
way.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I think we all decided pretty quickly that he looked exactly like that guy on the Dr. Seuss, the Grinch Who Stole Christmas
Yeah,
episode.
the patriarch of the family.
Yeah, he looks just like him. I just
So,
side by side. It's hilarious.
If you want me to say one thing that I noticed, it was energy. It was him. He got out of that car and he had a cane, but he ran over to us and up that double winding wheelchair ramp, and it's hard to describe, seeing somebody after so long that, here's the thing. So few things in life live up to your expectations. So few things that you go to experience, meet, have, hold, whatever it is. You're like, how was it? Yeah, it was pretty good, you know. Mark was everything that I remembered that he was, and exceeded even my expectations of his energy, his light, sitting with him. Because we drove, like Josie said, we drove to IHOP. And I just remember looking at, I mean, you can see the pictures from that night. And I look like I'm a guy who, in 1986, I lost my father. In 1996, I lost my mother. So I don't have a lot of family. They're all in Tennessee. They're all distant this and distant that and cousin this and aunt that. So I don't have any of that. So in one swoop, because of T, the listener of the show, in one swoop to suddenly have not only someone that I can look up to, but someone that I can show to my children and say, this is where Dad comes from. Like, that's a tall order, right?
Yeah.
That's a tall order.
We were just nervous because you had a connection with this man. So even if he didn't live up, even if all that didn't happen, you're going to have a good time because you knew him when. Even if you didn't like him now.
And instead, like, what happened?
For us, it was very like, we're going to meet a complete stranger that you want us to embrace and love like he's a family.
Let me guess. I'm going to guess he was a complete stranger for about 12 minutes.
I don't even think it was
or
that
less,
long.
Right?
I felt comfortable from the meal at IHOP on. I knew that we were going to click with this person.
He's this funny, eccentric guy. And
crazy.
I would accept no less.
Absolutely crazy.
He's what I want to be when I grow up.
Have it any other way. He's so amazing. And we are each one of us is better for knowing him. Like, I truly believe that. I gained so much from that trip. And I didn't go in looking for that. I went in looking for you. We're doing this for Dad. This is for Dad.
And instead...
At best. And at best, I even told myself, maybe Josie get a grandfather figure. Maybe the kids will get time with a mature person that they can, because they don't have that.
We don't have that at all.
I truly never, ever, ever thought I would get something from it.
This culture that we're in loves to discard old people. The minute they're not fruitful members of society, we throw them out.
Which I don't understand.
Unlike the Japanese,
old people are adorable.
In the Japanese culture, reveres the older generation and acknowledges that they know a hell of a lot more than we do because they've been around a lot longer. So, getting a chance to listen to Mark talk and his stories, and Josie had chicken and waffles. How was your chicken and waffles?
It was really strange because I was told you're supposed to dip the waffles in the syrup and dip the chicken with the waffle.
Yes.
I just ate it separately. I don't understand that.
Baby
those
steps.
Two don't go together.
Baby
You
steps.
ate 'em.
Chicken and waffle.
I don't even remember what I had that night. I have no idea. And we should point out, this was what, 11 o'clock at night?
It was pretty late.
We finally got to the restaurant to eat dinner because we got such a late flight and a late everything. And 11 o'clock at night, and we're meeting him for the first time in an IHOP. We got a fun, crazy waitress that totally thought we were all just loonier than anything.
And she was right.
But she's right. I took some great pictures that night.
And we broke the ice.
Yes.
So that the next morning it was
We'd
just
already met.
business as usual, right?
And isn't it weird how the next morning it went to that? It didn't here's that guy we don't know very well. I never had that feeling.
The next morning it was...
I've known him forever.
The next morning it was, where is he? Is he here yet?
Yeah. And he sort of gave me a present too. We're going to get sentimental for a minute here. Because, I also, and I don't talk about my father the way you talk about your father. And it's not that I didn't, because I was close with my father and had him in my life. My entire life until he died. But I was 14 when I lost my father. Also in the 80s. Very young girl. And it messed me up. Extreme. I could do serious episodes on that alone. But, so I also think I gained this, a father-ish, grandfather figure that I didn't even know was missing from my life until I now have it. Do you know Mark and I, we email I don't know, 4 times a day, at least every single day. Since I have got back from Seattle, I have never missed one single day without an email to him. Like, that's crazy.
Wait, and when he's late,
I worry.
You worry.
I instantly go to, he normally emails me at 4:37 in the morning because he's up in the middle of the night, and I didn't get my morning email, and now I'm a little concerned, and then I'll get that like 8 or 9 o'clock email where he was just lagging that day for whatever reason, but I worry till it comes through. And then he'll email me again at 4 something in the middle of the night, and then I'm okay again. But that's just my life now. That's my routine. I update on every event we go to. I send pictures of everything we do. It's my daily life. I have to do that.
We decided to drive to the local mall because that's where the American Girl store
The
is.
American Girl
The first thing
store.
he had on his list
Right.
for us to do.
But before we get to that, we should say that Mark had a plan. And the plan was everywhere we went, he would get a different co-pilot in his car so that he could not only meet us as a family, but meet us one-on-one.
Brilliant. He was so organized.
And we won't divulge what we said in those private conversations because they are private.
Right.
But I think that shows the brilliance of who he is.
Well, he's just, you have to know him. He's so, like, he had things mapped out, literally. He had an agenda for daily what we would do, pretty much to the time we'd be doing it, and what parts he could do with us, and he knew his limit, and he'd send us off on our adventures, and he was just so organized.
Yeah. So we went to the American Girl store, and he handed each of us an envelope with money in it, and told us to spend it on something. And that was weird because, you know, we've had birthdays and stuff where, you know, somebody gives us the kids $20 or something, but never like, here's a significant amount of money to go do something with. And it was really humbling and touching. And the kids didn't know what to do. And I said, you have to take it. He's gone to a lot of trouble
But
for
even
this.
still, they hardly bought anything on that trip. They gave it back to us for food and things we needed
we
on
bought
the trip.
groceries with it, yeah.
Because that's how our kids are.
Yeah.
Because I want our kids to get
Now, that
credit
being
for
said-
They're not- they didn't like take that money and go shopping like crazy.
Right. Well, that
Not
being
our
said,
kids.
Josie did drag this poor man around the American Girl doll store for about an hour and a half.
I think it's the most he walked of the whole trip.
It was.
That American Girl store.
But we did give him some energy before that trip. His first ever Java chip Frappuccino from Starbucks, to which he nursed and said was the greatest thing he had ever had, that he ever
liked
drank.
it. He
Yes.
has mentioned it since then. I don't know why he doesn't just go out and get one. He needs to get another one.
Well, they're in Seattle. They're hard to get.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's not a Starbucks on every single
if they
street.
delivered it to his house, I'd send one.
We can do that, right?
I don't know. Can we do that?
I think you can buy one and then he can go pick it up.
He has a sweet tooth, so I've already
Yeah.
done the chocolate thing, and I've already thought of other dessert things to send. But I don't know if you could do Starbucks.
We can figure it out.
You
So,
can do an Uber thing and just put his address instead of
yeah.
yours.
Josie,
Not
Yes.
far.
how long were you in the American Girl doll? Well, you wouldn't buy the Frappuccino here, honey.
I know. Did you request an Uber clear there?
Yeah,
Did you,
Uber
go
Eats,
to
it's
this
called.
address?
Yeah,
You can name
they,
the address you
they'll
want.
knock on the door and hand him a
Automatic,
Frappuccino.
But he'd have to be home.
It might
You couldn't
cost
surprise him.
$20, but that's
Well, it'd be
okay.
so worth it. I'm gonna do that.
Okay,
Oh
Josie,
my
I
lord.
hope he's not listening because we just ruined it.
you dragged this man around the store.
Okay, you're saying it as if I actually said, "Oh, come with me, come with me." No, I went off and he followed.
He was so
Yeah.
excited to watch everything she did in that store. And in all fairness, she could not decide on a doll.
Because the doll that I wanted, I was told I couldn't get.
And another thing was we were pushing you to get the Seattle doll because she just came out. That was the brand new American Girl doll. It just seemed fitting and memorable that he would buy you your Seattle doll. So that's what we were going for. But we ended up finding a happy medium because even though she's not the Seattle doll, she's a 1970s hippie doll, which totally fit the Seattle vibe and was Granddad's favorite in the whole store. So it was like fitting that you bought the one he loved.
It's just I was going to get the Seattle doll, but the second I saw her in real life and not like in photos and stuff, she's not a very special doll. She's like any other doll on the truly
Plus, to be
list.
fair, you go into these stores, it's easy to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, she usually changes her mind every time we've ever gone to an American Girl store.
You just went and changed your mind.
Okay, I did.
You
do
were
that.
completely
You're
overwhelmed.
right. You're right.
You had told me for 2 weeks what doll you were going to get,
Yep.
and you came out with a different one.
Yep.
So,
Well, to be fair, the doll she wanted had dorky bangs, and I wasn't going to let her get that
Oh.
doll.
we don't want dorky bangs.
Yeah, it had like a
So
square with no bangs.
which
It
doll
was
did you get?
good. I got Julie, who is with me right now, and she is the 1970s hippie, I guess you could say, doll.
Very nice. So, after that, Mark realized he had reached his limit on exertion, and he sent us on our way with plans of exactly where to go and what to do. And here's the thing, man. You go to Seattle, you think the Space Needle, they have a brand new museum, which we'll get to in a minute. But what really turned us on was there was a local festival going on. So we drove, parked, and walked to the local folk festival, right?
Folk Life Festival.
And
Northwest
had
Folk Life
the
Festival.
best time ever.
It was my favorite part of the trip. Besides Grandpa Dad, it was my favorite part of the trip. I can't wait to get back there next year.
Describe what it was.
It was just a festival celebrating music and art and people and community, and there was just so much love, and it was a total hippie vibe and amazing food and street performers.
Every 20
and
feet there were
shopping.
musicians on different instruments, and
I needed to bring like stacks of ones because I just wanted to tip every single one of them.
there was a robot girl who did the Charleston for
she was
$1.
great.
There was a band playing for pizza.
Oh, I love them.
Yes. I told Josie before we went in, I said, because she said, I'm hungry. I said, we're going to get chicken on a stick.
Oh my
Which
god.
was random. We don't even know where he came up with that. We're all
That
chicken on a
sounded
stick.
amazing. I've never heard of that
And I
before.
yelled at him.
Chicken on a stick.
Don't promise her something you don't even know you can get. What do you mean chicken on a stick?
So what did we get for lunch?
Chicken on a stick, which it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a piece of grilled chicken, like a piece
No,
on a
teriyaki
stick.
chicken on a stick.
If I knew it was that, I probably wouldn't have gotten it.
It was delicious.
It wasn't really that
All
good.
I know is you had a
and
face
it was
filled with sauce.
it was super messy, and they give you one little napkin.
And then we got a whole tray of Piggly Wigglies.
I don't even know. No.
Curly
Yeah.
fries.
Oh.
Fries, real fresh
What in the
cut
world,
curly fries.
Piggly Wigglies?
They're called Piggly
So
Wigglies.
good.
Who in the world calls them Piggly Wigglies?
And then we went shopping, and I bought a pair of sunglasses made out of forks.
And Austin made sunglasses made out of spoons and knives.
Like a strainer, a kitchen
Yeah, a
strainer.
kitchen
Yeah,
strainer.
it was really cool independent artwork that was like kitchen utensils formed together to form cat ears.
Yeah,
It was
and they had
cool.
cat ears.
But it was metal, so they couldn't go home with us. We had to wait for them to be shipped.
Yeah,
Because I know the airport would have just taken them. Because we watched the TSA pat down every inch of an 84-year-old woman. It was so embarrassing for the TSA. Anyways, but the festival was fantastic. And then after the festival, we were there for a couple hours at least. We saw the fountain and the beer garden and a million people with dogs. And smoking pot is legal, so there were people smoking pot everywhere. Oh my God. And then Josie played on a swing set that would never exist in California.
It was huge.
I was actually terrified for my life because you go up this like 7 foot tall.
Oh no, it was
Like-
about 20 feet.
Yeah, girlfriend, keep going.
It was about 20 feet in the air.
This like rope, and there's no platforms or anything. You literally have to hold on for your life because if you fall, you're falling to the bottom.
You're dead.
Yeah.
There's no person like, okay, you need to be this tall. No, there was this 4-year-old
Free for all.
trying to climb
Yep.
it with the mom trying to help him. And it had this girl behind me. She was a little bit older than me. And she goes, ain't no adult allowed in there. Like screaming at her, if your son too tiny, your son gonna go in. And like screaming like a crazy person
Uh-huh.
using a fake accent.
Yeah.
Take it over.
So you played on that for a few minutes.
It was insane. I was terrified.
And then we decided to go to the Museum of Pop Culture, which we were a little hesitant because it was really expensive,
it
right?
was well worth it.
But we paid $30 to get in, and
Can
then
I just mention that they had signs saying coming in 2 weeks, David Bowie exhibit?
yeah.
I missed it by 2 weeks.
Doesn't matter. We had a great time. We paid the extra $5 a piece for the Jim Henson traveling exhibit, and we went in, and I wasn't sure what to expect. We had been told there were some movie props there, but what we weren't told was that it was the most amazing collection of movie props I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Owned
fun.
by the co-founder of Microsoft, Paul, what's his name?
I don't know.
We saw, like, it was staggering what they had. We saw a real pink hoverboard from Back to the Future 2, a real proton pack and ghost trap from Ghostbusters. We saw Deckard, Rachel, and Joanna Cassidy's costumes from Blade Runner, his gun. We saw all the weaponry from Alien and Aliens. All of the stuff, Lilu's signature outfits from The Fifth Element. You know, Corbin Dallas's shirt, Corbin Dallas's gun, the Mangalores, like, completely amazing
Star
stuff.
Trek, everything. Star Trek had multiple rooms.
Everything. And then it was divided into horror, sci-fi, and fantasy. We went to the sci-fi first and saw stuff from Dune, Star Trek, you name it. Then we saw the horror one. They had a gremlin, an alien, American Werewolf in London, a real piece of the Frankenstein lab from the original Frankenstein movie. The fantasy section had all the costumes from The Princess Bride. Even John Cleese's helmet as the French taunter in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
But does that rank above Dorothy's outfit in that room?
They had Dorothy's outfit, but I was more impressed with John Cleese's.
Yeah, John Cleese's helmet's more.
You know, your mother was an elderberry, and and your father was an elderberry, and your oh my god, the funniest, the greatest collection. I didn't want to leave. It was so much fun going through there, and then we still had to go through. Austin loved, Luna loved the independent video game room, showcasing independent video games.
That was cool.
And then the Jim Henson exhibit, which was astounding.
It was better than any prop they had there.
They had the puppets from the Dark Crystal. They had Jareth's and Sarah's outfits from the ballroom scene of Labyrinth. They had Wilkins, the coffee guy, Austin's dream. They had Scooter and
They had at
Ralph.
least one of every
Do
Muppet.
you think it's telling that those props, they aren't props, they're people, they're characters?
Oh yeah, no, I've always said it's like looking at Friends.
They had Bert and Ernie.
They had Bert and Ernie, which
Because
I grew up watching Bert and Ernie, and to me, like, there's such a distance in the television, and to be up close within inches of the actual Bert, the actual Ernie, it really does touch something like way deep inside you, where you're like, to me, they're real.
Yeah.
And they're just resting right now.
because the prop collection was amazing.
Oh, it's fun, but you don't have that childhood connection like
Yeah.
that.
When you see the Muppets, it's just,
They had the little worm circus.
Yeah, oh my God.
it was amazing.
It
They
was-
had Wolf.
Yeah, it was really, really unbelievable. You know, Scooter and pieces of Miss Piggy's wardrobe and the Jim Henson puppet of Jim Henson,
Yeah.
You know,
the Frank Oz puppet.
the Frank Oz puppet. Just really, really amazing. And on the way out, we saw the big puppet from the Dark Crystal, and the spinner car from Blade Runner.
Hanging from the ceiling.
Hanging from the ceiling's the spinner car. Oh my God. It was unfreaking real.
Now, one minor complaint for the Jim Henson exhibit, the amazing experience. Please stock something more than pop vinyl in your gift shop.
Yeah,
I want to spend
yeah.
money on your product.
We were hoping to get a puppet or two,
You got a
but
cool T-shirt.
I did get a.
they
cool
didn't have the
T-shirt.
puppets. So, what did we do for dinner Saturday night? Was that the Chinese restaurant or was that Sunday night?
That was the Chinese
I
restaurant.
think that was a Chinese
Yeah.
restaurant.
It was. Because the last night we didn't have dinner.
Which
We
was
were up all
Josie's
night snacking till play.
favorite
Chinese
part of the trip,
restaurant
so she should probably talk.
Was my most favorite thing ever.
We drove down to the waterfront to get a table at this really famous seafood place.
Which I was not.
It
gonna
was
eat
too
anything
busy.
At.
We
Me
couldn't get
either,
in.
but I'm glad it didn't work
So
out.
we drove around until we found this Chinese restaurant, And it's the kind with a lazy Susan in the center of the table.
It looked like something from that Christmas Story
Yes.
movie.
Straight out of Christmas.
So everyone's
Story.
looked at the menu, and I said, Mark, they've got this thing where you can order this and you'll get a variety of dishes. And there were 2 levels of it. So we each ordered one of the levels of that. And how much food did they bring out, Josie?
They just kept bringing out food,
plate
and
after
everything
plate
was so
after plate.
amazing.
The whole table was covered. They started putting it on chairs around us. And when we ordered it, the lazy guy looked at us like we were crazy. He's like, too much food. I'm like, no, we're hungry, dude. He's like, no, too much. And I'm like, just, okay, we're going to take it home then. But I don't think we realized he was trying to tell us.
Mark had Chinese food for a week.
We ordered for like a party, not
There was
a family
so
of 6
much
or whatever,
food.
a party.
But I ate like half of it. So.
We all ate so much.
I've never seen you eat so
And
much,
tried
Josie.
so many new things.
They had so much
good.
amazing. They had like this almond crusted orange chicken. I don't know what even was on that thing, but it was amazing. And this weird steak that I had like the whole time. Everything was just so amazing. I just kept eating
Yeah.
and eating.
And I shared a beer with Grandpa Dad. That was
Yes.
fun.
So we talked for a long time. We had a really nice, lazy, slow dinner. After the crazy day we had, it was perfect. Then we went back to the motel room, zonked out, and started all over again Sunday.
And he had another full day planned.
Yes.
With like these little envelopes that had like little agendas to. It was like a scavenger hunt. Places we had to go, things he wanted us to see, like the Lucky Pig at the Pike, and
Right.
somebody had to sign to witness that we saw it and take a picture. Like he had little game. It was like a total game.
They were
It was fun.
holdovers and sort of the same thing he had done with his students as a
Yes.
teacher.
We did go to breakfast together before we started.
Yeah,
We had
we-
meals with him and spent time with
We
him.
went to a
It
giant.
wasn't up to what we could do.
We
all
went to
day.
a giant breakfast where who was it that spilled their drink all over the table?
It was Grandpa Dad.
Oh, he did.
Was it?
Yeah, he spilled it because I was sitting next to him and he spilled his water and it went all over the table
That's right.
in my shorts.
And your shorts.
Oh well, it was hot, so
True.
But he sent us to the wharf, the world famous Seattle wharf,
Pike Market.
Pike Market
it
and the
smelled
wharf.
bad. They threw fish.
The first ever Starbucks, and we got down there. This is Sunday. It's like a street festival, so it was even more insane than the folk music festival that we had gone to.
Parking though.
Yeah, but it was crazy. There were people everywhere. They were throwing fish
There were
and
so
sitting
many
on the pig.
stores, though. It was so much fun.
We saw the greatest comic book store ever, right, guys?
Yeah.
It was
And
fantastic.
Mom bought tons of
Fun
stuff at the
souvenir
Seattle
stores for
souvenir
all my
store.
friends
What
and
was that strange Buffalo Bills looking place we ended up in?
Well, that was down on the
Oddity
wharf.
Store? What was
Yeah,
Oddity?
it was a
Curious?
curiosity shop.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: we're traipsing through the Pike Market, and we see this little tiny Chinese restaurant where you step in and then go to the left. There's all these booths overlooking a beautiful view of the water and stuff. And it looked like a really cool place to just sit down and have a meal. And we didn't think anything of it till later in the day. So we then moved our car down closer to the water because we need to go to the wharf to answer some more of the questions, right? And when we looked up, what did we see, Austin?
It was
Luna?
suspended, yeah.
The restaurant we had looked at was suspended where the floor literally was an outcropping of the main building. At least what?
Jutted out of the building.
7
yeah.
stories up? Oh
Yeah.
my god, it was terrifying.
Would you eat that?
No, no.
And we found an antique store down there.
So yeah, down on the wharf, we answered some more questions. We counted the buckets on the Ferris wheel. We ended up at this bizarre Buffalo Bill-looking tourist trap where you
ice
guys
store?
got ice cream that was $30 a scoop.
Oh, it was so
It was so
It
good.
was funny though because after
so
seeing
worth it.
so much of the independent Seattle and the folk festival, going in that one building that was like aimed towards tourists.
Yeah, it was really funny. Mark had sent us to all these places that were authentic. And down on the wharf, it's like they've got rides and it's all very artificial. And it's like, oh, we like the real stuff better. The folk art festival was 10 times as much fun.
Yeah.
But we did find a nice antique store and bought a few things that I wish I could have bought more because, but you can't carry them home.
They had amazing furniture, and when I get older and have my own house, I'm going to fill it with antique furniture.
There you
because
go.
I just think it's so
It's cool,
pretty
right?
and cool.
So we ended up having to go up and down this gigantic staircase from the parking garage down to the wharf. And the staircase has little breaks in it where they've built shops out of nowhere. You just, all of a sudden, there's a little shop.
I needed it. Those stairs were killing me.
Right, so the first one we found was closed. It was a bar where you can have a drink and something. And where is it from, Rachel?
We didn't know at that moment until after, but we found out it's where they go to have drinks, and it's in the book 50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey. It was right there. So a lot of people were taking their picture with the door.
Yep, I did.
We found this little shop that sells like Latin America gifts, like soccer flags and hacky sacks and wrestling helmets. And this guy who runs it is a complete salesman character, man.
Hilarious.
He was talking
friendly.
a mile a minute. How you doing? We got all these things here. We got a flag here, hacky sack
I think
here.
we spent about $15 in a store.
Right.
But
And then you, because you're you, wanted to take his picture.
because we spent time with this man. We got to know him. He was hilarious. I wanted to be part of our scrapbook. And he seriously was not joking. He got dead serious. He's all, let me take a picture of you guys in the store. You could scrapbook that. I'm like, but I want you in it. You're part of our story. So all right, I'm wanted by the FBI. Seriously, cannot have my picture taken. And he was not joking.
No, he wasn't kidding.
I was
He
like,
wasn't kidding.
I will never turn you in. He's all, I feel more comfortable
And
if
I
I'm
think-
not in a photo. I'm like, oh my god.
I think the subtext of it was he was trying to sell us weed.
Well, that was a for sure given. There was no doubt around that, or at least a hacky sack with weed on it. Like everything he was selling was based on weed.
I think that staircase aged your mom 10 years.
That was horrific.
It's kind of like the staircase scene.
I don't think Mark was aware of
In
my
Ghostbusters?
bad health
No.
before he planned
No.
all these trips.
What?
The staircase scene in what?
In Howl's Moving Castle, when
Oh.
the old lady ages as he goes up the steps.
Yeah,
It felt like
and
that.
that's your mom.
He's
And
sweating
you all
as
would
he
just
he
go
carries the
and
dog.
leave me, and I was like 8 miles behind the entire day.
And I bought this bracelet, and the whole point of it was when it fell off, your wish would come true and stuff. We had to cut it off.
Finally. It was
Like
on
in
for a month.
July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beginning of July.
You're like,
It
the
wouldn't
hell with
come
waiting.
off.
I want my wish now.
It
She
wouldn't
stuck
fall
with it a long
off.
time.
So we ended up back in Mark's neighborhood where his condo is, and he took us to a place that has huge significance now. Beats and Bohos. Beats and Bohos stands for Beatniks and Bohemians. It's a vintage clothing rock and roll record shop.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
And
Words out of my mouth.
And this is where Mark's art display was. So we owe the connection to him, not only to T, but to Beats and Bohos for having the art show. So he wanted to introduce us to the owners so that we could have like this connection of how we got there and who we were. And then he said, whatever you want in the shop, you can have. I'll buy you anything in the shop.
I think he just wanted us to buy something there. I think he wanted something as part of the souvenir.
Yes,
That was part of the trip.
I bought a pair of sunglasses
That's what I bought.
that I have
just-
worn every day
I-
since.
I haven't worn mine once
I bought
yet.
a Beach Boys
I need
cassette.
to get them out. Yeah, everybody just picked like one little thing. We just wanted to say we all bought something. Did you buy
Yeah.
something, Austin?
Yeah, about a button.
A button.
Yeah, so it was really cool, and we went to Mark's condo then, which was crazy because it's underneath the street where you have to park, and I didn't think our SUV that we had rented was going to make it, but it did. And
Is that when he sat on the hood of our car?
No, that was
We're-
the next
we're-
one, I think.
that
Kinda jumping
we're,
around.
we've moved things
We're
around a bit
jumping
just to
around.
be simpler.
Well, we probably should mention that now since you went there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Josie.
Keep in mind, he was a little frail. You know, he's not off running any marathons anytime soon. He's got a cane. You know, he's watchful with how he walks and things he does. But then suddenly, we pull up to visit, and out jumps Mark, literally onto the hood of our car. Like I was like, "Oh my God, get off! What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Everyone in the car was screaming. We were freaking out. He wanted us seriously to drive into the carport
With him on the
underneath
roof.
the townhouse.
Yeah.
With him on the roof.
Yeah.
I was like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And he's holding on.
I think
Like on the
that was
windshield.
in between. We did a stop to drop stuff off or something, and then we went to the Pink
great.
Gorilla.
It was great.
What's the
Oh,
Pink
yeah.
Gorilla?
Video game shop.
I had heard about Pink Gorilla from a YouTuber called Metal Jesus that I follow quite closely. He does buying guides and collecting guides on video games.
Who the clerk inside knew nothing about. He's
Yeah.
like, what? Video YouTuber? No, we're not YouTubers.
But Metal Jesus' friend, I believe her name is Kinsey, she owns the chain in business. It's a chain throughout Oregon.
It was a lot of fun.
There were a bunch of locations.
Yeah.
It was a cool store.
You went
Unless
to
I go back.
Washington, right? You keep saying Oregon.
We also went to
Yeah, we went to Washington, Austin.
Oh, I
we
forget
also
that.
went to a weird Target that was like double-decker parking, and you had
Yeah.
to buy at least $20 in Target merchandise.
Well, we have one of
to
those in
park
LA.
there. It was
Yeah,
really
we do
weird.
actually have one in LA.
Really?
Just like that.
I didn't like it. If I was
I-
my everyday Target, it would drive me crazy.
No, I didn't care
We go
for it
to
at all.
Target too often for that to be.
Well,
the
this is something about
situation.
Seattle I should mention. Everything is local owned. It's all local owned stores. I assume if you live in the area, you know all the owners and all the store clerks. So it is odd when you arrive there on your own, and suddenly there's no Walmarts and no Targets to buy things from. We had a lot of trouble finding a water bottle. We couldn't get a bottle of water. Do you remember that quest to get a bottle
Yeah,
of water?
we ended up at the one Walgreens we could find, or was that CVS? I don't even
Yeah,
remember.
Because
We bought a case of it.
Seattle has no Walmarts, no Targets.
No, they don't want that there.
One 7-Eleven you can't get to, long story.
Yeah.
And there's no way of getting groceries. It's odd. It's odd, right?
Yeah, you have to go to these little tiny co-op places.
People always like grow their stuff in Seattle, don't
Yeah,
they?
it's very natural. Go to the farmer's market with your reusable bag.
Buy fish and they throw it at you.
So then, Sunday night. Now we had to leave Monday morning at 7:30 a.m., which means in order to return the car and get to the airport on time, we had to leave at about
3.
3 in the morning. So
And we got back to Grandpa Dad's house about 8 p.m., I'd say. And we were all hyped up from our long day. Exhausted, yes. But we knew this was our last time with him. So I kept trying to put kids in different rooms. He had, a little office that he put his little yoga mats out because he didn't really have beds. He had a blow-up mattress thing that the boys were sleeping on in one room and a yoga mat
Well, no,
for
let's-
Josie
let's-
in one room.
let's take it back.
Okay.
He made us close our eyes, and he led us into his condominium for the first time. And we all gathered without looking in the living room, and then he said, "Look." And what did we see?
A beautiful view.
The most breathtaking view of Seattle I've ever seen.
Yeah, right off his
It was
balcony.
gorgeous.
You could see the water and then the city.
And it was it's so pretty at night, even prettier during the day. Like, I don't know. I liked
It looked like a
all.
postcard.
It did.
It was truly amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then later after that, when we were driving back to his house, we used that view to find where it was. Remember?
Yeah.
I thought that was
like this.
Yeah. So Sunday night was the best because we just sat and talked for hours.
Yep.
He doesn't have a television. We didn't turn a radio on. We did the old-fashioned
He
thing.
showed me his cool shark tooth collection. That was fun.
We saw his whalebone collection
Uh-huh.
and his
Lots of
art,
his art.
his amazing art. I picked out a couple of pieces to send to T, which he did, and we just talked about the old days, the new days, whether Austin was going to live with them or not, to which I thought was hilarious. Because at first he said, hell no. And then he found out Austin has OCD about cleaning and said, well, maybe. And we just connected,
And everybody went off to try to sleep a little. I think Luna got 3 or 4 hours. Josie may have got about the same. You got a couple. I don't think Austin got any.
I don't think Mark
And
slept
I think
at all.
I got about an hour. Mark did not sleep at all.
He-
He was with Austin most of the night.
He
The
did
two
make
of
me
them.
sleep near the end of the night.
He did try to
Yeah.
make you lay down for a little bit.
I couldn't get sleep. I tried.
Yeah, and I
did
knew
try.
Yeah.
that's how you are, so I knew you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So
I have trouble sleeping in a hotel that's 5 minutes from our house, if that's the case, Someone else's house that's 30 minutes, I have trouble sleeping.
Right.
So, thousands of miles away, the furthest I've ever been, I'm not getting to sleep.
Yeah.
we
What?
packed up the car, and we did the toughest thing we had to do.
We left.
We had to say goodbye.
Yep.
And it was really rough because we had worked so hard to get there, And we only
It
had...
went so fast.
It went so fast.
Then when you go home, it's like everything's normal again. You're not in this amazing city with this new family.
Yeah.
This experience.
But
It's
it was the most important trip we've ever taken. The closest we've been as a family, I think.
Yeah.
Closer than any Vegas vacation or Comic-Con vacation. Even though it was 2 days, it just felt like
It felt longer.
it felt a lot longer. We made it count. And the reason we made it count is because of Mark, because of Mr. Benton.
Grandpa Dad.
He insisted by the end that he be Grandpa Dad to us. And of course we said, absolutely. Right?
Yep.
And turning that car in and going through TSA again and getting on another crappy plane 10 times as hard as it was getting there. Because we were leaving him behind. And he doesn't travel. We can't have him out here. So we're going to have to go back again.
But he's already planned our trip. And we're going to do Christmas next summer. And he's going to buy things from the thrift store to put a Christmas tree together. And we're going to have it next summer. We're going back to the same restaurant. He's already got it all set. We're taking our little mini Christmas tree to put on the table there. They're going to think we're crazy. And he's got all new things and sights we didn't see last time. And we're going to get more time with him. And it can't come fast enough. I begged him to let us come in January or February. Because I know I could get some time off work by then, and that's usually your good time to take off work.
Yeah.
Plus, we get tax money, so we could probably fund it easier. And he was absolutely against it. Weather's bad. It rains. It's cold. It's not a good time. No. You need to wait. Come back when the folk festival is here again. You have to come back in the summer.
That's worth waiting for.
So that's what we're gonna do.
So Josie, what'd you get out of the trip, honey?
A
What if-
grandpa.
A grandpa.
Yeah. Is there any other answer to give?
Yeah, we're all gonna answer the same.
Austin?
I overcame my
I
fears.
mean, life experiences.
Austin overcame his fears of flying.
I never have to worry about that again.
That's amazing, right?
Yeah, I'll probably be flying a lot as an adult.
I found out I probably would have made a really good hippie had I lived through that era. I really loved the folk festival.
We actually all gained a number of nicknames.
Oh,
we
yeah.
did make
As a family, we are who?
the Tuckaroos.
The Tuckaroos.
He calls us that on every
And-
email, every letter.
Your name is
Oh, I'm the Jewish mom.
Jewish Mom.
Everything I do, because I hover over the kids like a helicopter mom. And let him do it for himself. You're such a good Jewish mom.
Yes.
That's what he tells me on everything
Josie,
I do.
what's your new name?
I'm Sweet Bee.
Sweet Bee.
And he's Bumblebee. They have a thing together with that
Luna?
What
storyline.
was I? Like Lorraine?
You were
Luann.
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 You insisted on calling you Luann.
And Austin was
Justin. Why is it laughing at that one?
I don't
just
know. It's just
funny.
funny.
And
But we love it.
I gained a new name as well. My name became Son. And I've called him Dad ever since. And that's really strange for me. Because it's never been a thing in my life ever. It's just not a thing.
And we had the best Father's Day ever this year because we were able to send out Grandpa Dad presents. That was really cool.
Never been able to do that before. So, a massive thank you to Dad. To,
Grandpa
what do you
Dad.
call him?
Dad.
Grandpa Dad. For an amazing trip to Seattle. Life-changing, life-affirming, life-enhancing trip.
Thank you to everyone that made this possible.
Thank you to everyone who helped
So
on the
many
GoFundMe.
That came into the Halloween sale we had.
Yeah.
Nathan. I want to give a shout out to everyone. Our dear friend Carl. He did a lot to help us make this trip happen. Hindle. I don't want to forget anybody by singling someone out. Alan and the Simpson family.
Yeah.
Colleen. Like, we have so many close friends that did whatever they could to make the trip happen.
Who's the lady we met for chicken strips?
Oh, Gianna. And
Yeah, she helped quite a
She
bit.
came to the Halloween sale and helped as well.
Laura did. Laura from Haunt.
T for finding Benton.
T for finding Benton.
Which is a
Dad.
whole other story we'll talk about on the next episode of Midsummer because we finally met T.
Yeah.
And it literally brought me 2 tears at our table. That will be in next time's episode. I just don't want to forget anybody. There's so many people that should get a shout out by name, but I feel like my mind is just rambling.
It's hard on the spot
We
without
are very
notes.
blessed to have a lot of amazing people in our lives that completely made this trip possible.
Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Dad in Seattle, Grandpa Dad.
Grandpa Dad.
As I said, as Rachel said, she talks to him every day now. I talk to him about every other day on email. And we've tried to call a few times, but he's real squirrely about answering that phone.
Never answers his
Why don't you
phone,
call him right
not
now
once.
and see if he answers?
He won't answer. We'll get that electronic
Yeah,
voice.
but
It's not even his
we'll leave a
voice.
message while we're on the show.
If it was a voicemail that was his,
Oh, it'd be
I
different.
would call it all the time and drive him crazy. But we don't even get that.
Oh, but watch. This is the time he'll answer.
Well,
That would be funny, right?
Let's give it a shot. Grandpa Dad, here we go.
We saw a beautiful city with a lot of green. We tried to go out to eat late at night and ended up in downtown Seattle. That was fun. That was completely insane. We could not turn left.
Yeah, there's no point.
There was no left turn for about 10 miles.
There's a lot of
We put a 7-Eleven right where the bridge started, and it's about 10 miles where there's a chance for a U-turn.
I couldn't
It turns
believe it,
into a
right?
freeway at some point before you get a chance to turn.
That was unbelievable, right?
No one is available to take
See,
your call.
no one is available to
We
take
leave a
your call.
message?
Let's leave a message.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so we're on the show right now. Grandpa Dad, we love you. Say we love you.
We love,
Love you.
And we'll see you next summer.
Live episode, and we wanted you to be part of it. We love you.
Love you.
All right, so thanks everybody for tuning in. We're sorry this episode took so long, but with the kind of emotions we were talking about, you gotta let them simmer a while. Simmer down before
I
you
couldn't
can.
have done this.
No,
after we
you
got
would have been a
back.
wreck.
Yeah.
I think like a month into coming home, I still could not have done this episode. And it's living proof by running into T this weekend and meeting her, because I did not think it would trigger like instant flood, instant like, do you know how you've changed our lives? Like, so I know I couldn't have done it back then. I'm finally in a spot that I can talk about that trip and be happy about it and not sad about it, because I just miss him so much.
Right. We will see him very soon.
Yep.
So, thanks again. Let's tell everybody. I am Jeff.
Josie.
Luna?
Justin.
Jewish mom over here.
Son.
Sweet me.
Luann?
Justin again.
Justin.
Jewish Bob. And together we are the crazy Seattle-bound family known as 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening by Grandthar's Hammer. We'll be back with another episode. Live long and prosper. May the force be with you. So say we all. Hey, hey, hey.